Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 16, Genesis 16. Today we're reading Hagar and Ishmael. Now, Sarai, Adam's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. Please go in to my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her." And Abraham heeded the voice of Sarai. Then Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace. And when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between you and me." So Abram said to Sarai, "Indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please." And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to the Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She said, "I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress, and submit yourself under her hand." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "Behold, you are with children, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. He shall be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren." Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, "You are the God who sees." For she said, "Have I also here seen him who sees me?" Therefore the well was called Beer Lahai Roi. Observe, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here's a quick summary of Genesis 16. Genesis 16 is about Sarai's plan to build a family through Hagar. Years after God's promise, Sarai is still childless, so she offers her Egyptian servant Hagar to Abram as a surrogate. A culturally accepted practice at the time, but not God's original plan. Abram agrees and Hagar conceives. Once pregnant, Hagar begins to look down on Sarai, and Sarai, hurt and resentful, deals harshly with her. So harshly that Hagar flees into the wilderness. There, an angel of the Lord finds her by a spring and tells her to return and submit to Sarai, but also gives her an incredible promise of her own. Her son will be called Ishmael. God hears. And he will father a multitude too many to count. Though he'll be a wild, independent figure, often against others, Hagar remarkably becomes the first person in the Bible to give God a name, calling him El Roi, the God who sees. She returns, and Ishmael is born when Abram is 86 years old. The lesson underneath it, trying to fulfill God's promises through human shortcuts and manipulation instead of patience often creates pain and lasting consequences rather than solving the problem. It's also a story about God noticing and caring for the overlooked and mistreated. Hagar, a foreign servant with a seemingly no power in her situation, is the one who receives a direct, personal encounter with God and gives him a name that reflects being truly seen. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.